Hello, back with the second part of our chapter 10, animal fiber. Now in our earlier part we have seen that how is the rearing of sheep being done, and now in this part we are going to talk about different processes which are involved in cleaning and washing the wool and converting into the woolen clothes. So the first process that's been done is shearing. Now in the picture you can see that for shearing, what is shearing? Shearing refers to removing fleece from the body of the sheep, and for that there are clippers being used, which you can see on the right hand side. It's like a trimmer being used for shaving. The same way these are the clippers which are used for shearing or removing the fleece from the body of the sheep. Now the sheep is sheared in the early summer month itself or immediately before the onset of winters, so that sheep do not naturally molt, and shearing is necessary at that particular time, and therefore it's been done at that certain period itself. So it prevents the animal from overheating in the hot sun, and even after shearing the sheep also becomes less prone to fly strike. Because now what is fly strike? This is a disease being caused due to overheating. If they have this wool present on them, they will get overheated and the fly strike may happen on them, means the fly infection, the fly may cause an infection on their body. So to avoid all these things, the shearing is being done between this particular time span. Then shearing is also carried out using clippers. Electric clippers work faster and are similar to the way hairdressers work. So it works in the same way, so it does not harm the sheep at all. The approximate amount of fleece that is being obtained from one sheep varies according to the age of the sheep. Nearly 2 kg of fleece is being produced from a 4-month-old lamb, and approximately 4.5 kg of fleece is being obtained from a fully grown sheep. So after the fleece is being cut down, it is rolled up and put into large sacks called as wool sheets, and these sheets are then compressed into large bales and sent for the further process that is known as washing. So we'll just talk about the next process, that is washing, carding and combing. So all these processes are done together. Now wool which is obtained from the sheep is greasy and it contains high level of lanolin. It's an oily substance which is present in the wool. So to remove that, washing process has been done. So it also has other things like twigs, grass, straw, dust and dirt present in it. So to wash, the process of washing the fleece in a stream of water is called as scoring or washing. So it helps in removing all the dust particles, whatever twigs are there, even the dirt is there. So all the fat or greasy material is removed by this process. Then the next process is wool classing, in which after washing the wool is separated into 4 categories, that is fleece, some of the broken pieces, bellies and locks. Now out of these, fleece makes the main collection. So what is being collected out of it? The fleece is mainly collected. Rest of the things are just waste and they are not of any use. So it is further processed to make fur, and the quality of fleece is determined by a technique called as wool classing. So how is the quality being determined? The good quality fleece is being separated from rest of the particles. That technique is known as wool classing. So in this process, similar grades of wool are grouped together. All the same length of, we can say, of same quality are being kept together, and the quality of wool is determined by its diameter, its color, its strength and its yield. So all these characters are being looked after when they are being classed. Classing is being done on basis of all these things. Now the finest and most valuable wool then comes from merino hoggets. Now this is one of the breed of sheep which gives us best quality or the finest quality of wool, and the wool that is obtained from sheep is used for meat is quite coarse. So the wool which is obtained from the sheep which is used for meat purpose is not so fine, but it is a little bit coarse. Then the next process, which you can see the pictures have been shown over here, is carding and combing. Now what is the process of carding? After the wool is being classing, means the classification or the good quality wool is being collected, then the next process is being done, that is carding. These fibers are brushed. Now you can see the special brushes are kept over there in the second picture. You can see these are the brushes which helps us to get rid of tangles which are present in it, and this process is known as carding or combing. And carding is done by using hard cards which are similar to dog brushes. We even have dog brushes, so the same way the combs are present over here for the purpose of carding. It is also done by machines nowadays. So the device used for this purpose is known as drum carder. Now this process is generally used for streamlining, means making them uniform, the short fibers, and then combing or carding is the process of combing the fibers into combs which have long metal teeth. Now you can see the teeth which of the comb here are made up of metal, so they are being used for uniformity and streamlining the short fibers which are present. So one comb is used, you can see a set of two combs are kept over there. So why two of them are kept together? So that one comb is used for holding the fiber on its place, and the other is being moved through it slowly and transferring the fiber to the moving comb. So this is how it's been carried out. Now why it is being done? So combing removes short fibers and arranges the fibers in a flat bundles with all the fibers going in a straight direction, and this process helps in untangling them, and loosening of fibers is being done through it. So the process of combing is used for long fibers mostly, and after combing the fibers are spun to make long continuous strong threads called as yarns, which you can see here, colorful yarns I have shown you. So this is being done after the process of carding and combing. Then the next process is weaving and knitting. Now this process we have earlier also seen in our class 6th. You all know about it, that weaving is a process of interlacing two sets of yarn where two different colors are being used, and at right angles they are being running lengthwise. If they are running lengthwise, it's known as warp, and the yarns which are running across are known as weft. So this is how they have been knitted, and a fabric is being made out of it. Then the another process is knitting, which is carried out manually using knitting needles, and these knitting machines are also used nowadays for knitting fibers and interlocking rings of yarns and loops into it. So after weaving and knitting, the fabric is ready to be worn. Now the next thing which we are going to talk, or the next fiber which we will discuss, is silk. Now you all know that silk is again an insect fiber, so it is an animal source. So it comes from the silkworm cocoons. This also we have seen in our earlier class. Now the cocoon is being spun by the silk moth caterpillar. A cocoon comprises a single silk fiber, and it can be up to several thousands feet in length. So it is a single thread. It's not been broken anywhere. The silk fiber is then unwound with a single fiber plied together and then spun into a thread or silk yarn. And this real silk and silk for commercial production comes from the pupa. From the pupa of it, these stages we are going to talk about in our further part when we'll discuss, but just an introduction of it. Okay, so this comes from Asian or mulberry silk moth, and Bombyx mori is the we can say a breed of silkworm which gives us with the best quality silk. For obtaining silk on a large scale, the silk moth are reared and fed on mulberry leaves in bulk. So they are being we can say artificially been provided with the food that's been needed for giving a good quality of silk. Okay, now we'll just see the life cycle of silkworm. In the diagram you can see that the egg gets hatched. Yes, when it grows fully, then it gets hatched, and then the silkworm comes out of it. This silkworm is being feeded on the mulberry leaves for several days, and then it starts spinning silk fibers around it, and after some days a cocoon is being made. A cocoon is what? It is a caterpillar who has wound silk fibers around its own body. Then it encloses itself inside a pupa. This pupa then after some time the moth comes out of it, which has wings, okay, and it changes into a butterfly. So this moth comes out of it, then male and female mating is being done, which lays eggs, and this is how the cycle goes on, and this gives us a raw kind of silk, a raw silk which is being obtained, which is further been processed for the production of silk. Okay, so the production of silk by silk moth on a large scale is called as sericulture, and the unwound filaments being made from the finest silk is called as reeled silk. And you all as know that there are different grades of silk which are obtained at 3 different stages of silk processing. So there are silk processing stages, as we have seen earlier. Processing of wool is being done the same way. We also have processing of silk, that we will talk in our further part of the chapter.